I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we're going to open our regular council meeting. Now, well, we just did, I guess, with the Pledge of Allegiance. And now we will start with our public hearing. Do you need to do anything to take a look?
Just, basically just announce the public hearing's open and ask if anyone wants to testify on the proposed ordinance.
Okay. Is there anyone that would like to testify on the proposed ordinance?
What are we changing?
What's the ordinance?
Our ordinance,
So,
The zoning table.
the zoning table.
this one here.
Did we already?
Oh,
Yes.
We changed.
So I think you have one that's highlighted, everybody has the old one,
Yeah.
and then that's the new one. So all the highlighted ones are the ones that are changing. And then this will be the one to change it to.
So what's happening is the land use table previously didn't have, and we discussed this, I think, back in November and December, previously didn't allow, for example, barbershops and beauty shops, and then you went through and discussed adding RV storage and storage units. And so the table, the highlight, the yellow color version shows you kind of in an easier to read fashion, but there's an ordinance version I provided that duplicates that table that uses it's basically an ordinance of the City of Crouch amending Table 2A, Chapter 5 of the Crouch zoning ordinance.
so there were no changes, just additions?
There's one deletion, which was the mini storage, which the definition of which is already covered in the other storage unit, so it adds some specific types of storage, and it adds RV storage. It also amends the religious use thing that was unconstitutional the way it was sitting, because they were conditional in all zones, and so they're allowed in all zones.
Good.
In all of the commercial, this doesn't affect any of the residential zones, this is only the commercial. So table 2A is in the residential and industrial zones. If there's anyone want to testify on the proposed, then you can close the public
All
hearing.
right, we'll close the public hearing then. Moving on to the consent agenda. Review the minutes of the regular meeting from January 12th. Do I have those?
Wait, they were emailed.
Oh, I had that in his stuff that he was signing.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh, that other one, in the folder.
Hmm. Okay, well, that's what she's got.
The minutes from the last month. Oh, no, I always.
They were emailed in our packet.
They were emailed.
Yeah, I saw.
I didn't.
Email,
I
don't
we
know.
need them to sign them.
Oh, they have to be there. This one.
Okay, I know I saw them coming up.
There we go.
Is have any comment or any additions?
I was gonna say, I don't think we need to,
Yeah.
did anyone have anything on?
That's-
I was fine, so, alright. Let's move on to the payables and financials then.
Did you make a motion?
Do you make-
Oh, sorry.
We do it.
Yeah, let's have a motion there to
We have to
accept
do it
that.
in between there.
Make a motion that minutes be accepted as read. As you-
We have a second?
Steve,
Oh.
looked at the payables.
Oh, okay, yes, I'll second,
Alright. All in favor?
Aye.
yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Sorry. Now moving on to the payables and financials. We have a,
These are the payables and financials for this month.
this went out too in the email, I believe, didn't it?
Mhm.
Yes,
does anyone have
well, it
any-
wasn't complete because I didn't get
Okay.
everything until today.
Okay.
Quarterly taxes were done, road
Yeah,
report.
I've already.
Yeah, I was saying, okay. Did anyone have a comment on that or anything? Okay, do we just make a motion to pass them as is then as well, Joe? Okay.
That doesn't,
I was gonna say, I don't think that,
doesn't require.
okay. All right, moving on to our consent agenda. We need to make a motion to approve our consent agenda.
I'll make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second,
All in favor?
yes.
Yes.
Okay, motion passed. Moving on to water issues, do we have any update there?
We do.
Cool, perfect.
The tank overflowed when the power went out,
Yikes.
and that's why the power bill was so high. It's been $193 for the well for 2 months.
Wow.
So they caught it and reset it. Terry's gonna flush the hydrant on Burrow Lane and send us a picture for our office files. That goes back to, a customer a few months ago caught me and said, this needs to be done, and, yeah, he wanted it done. I asked the fire department if they did it, and they said, no, it's up to the city, and so when I talked to Terry, I asked him, and he said, that's on me, that's what I do, so he's gonna do that. The fire hydrant in front of the bank is tagged out of service, and it's gonna be costly to get it dug up and to get it running.
What, did he give any kind of a rough estimate there with that?
No, but he said that you have to go through the cement and everything
Okay.
to make it work. I don't know what happened to it.
Did he give us, would that be through him that we could get some estimates,
That's
or
him.
people he knows?
Mhm.
Okay,
And he said that he would get with us, he'll be at the meeting next month. He's been going through some health issues and
Yeah.
he's feeling better and he'll be here next month.
was he, I'm assuming he would have those estimates by that?
I'll talk to him and,
I'd like to have that before fire season, obviously.
okay, yeah, he said we can't do anything until the ground's not
Right.
frozen.
And that's the city's responsibility.
Sounds like it,
Yeah.
so. Okay, we'll wait till next month then, I guess.
Do you remember why we haven't fixed that before? Steve?
What the what is not?
The
That
fire
hydrant by
hydrant?
the bank, why that one's not,
Oh, you know,
we had
I thought
people.
they didn't need it for some reason.
I don't remember much.
I just don't think that it's, I don't believe it. In my short time here, it has never worked.
Right.
And I actually stopped our Rob just a little bit out here and discussed that a little bit. He said something, and I think Steve might have even said something about taking a, making sure that, because sometimes there's a valve ahead of those, that it could be something simple, but Terry has looked at it, he must not be.
Hmm.
Because he's got all those valves and valve wrenches and stuff.
He mentioned a line.
I don't believe that it has ever worked, but I'm not 100% sure about
I
that.
don't think it has either.
Yeah. So it does need to be, if it needs to be dug up and replaced or whatever, that needs to happen.
I have one more water question. The fire department uses our water for the 4th of July parade. All the other communities like Donnelly, McCall, and everybody, they have a meter and they know how much goes into their truck when they fill the truck. And they charge them for that. And when they use it for recreational. So that's something that we need to think about, what, you know, are we gonna do that too? Or do we just keep letting them take as much water as they want and
Where they get in the water, do you have any idea?
out of the well? They take it right out of the well.
Can't they pump it out of the river?
That's what we said.
Yeah.
That would be,
Better.
make sense, more sense to me than taking it out of,
I mean, the only way
Water
that I would
system.
know if they could fill a truck would be out of the fire hydrant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so, that makes sense.
maybe they are.
Well, they
That's the
pump them out
way
of the river,
Terry
to fill the tank,
told
big
me.
tankers up?
Yeah,
Yeah, they pump them up out of the river.
that's what I thought, yeah.
Might be too low.
The Fourth of July.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
That might be. something.
anyway, that's something that came from Terry too. He said
Oh,
they're
okay.
taking it from the well, so.
Okay.
From a hydrant or.
Yeah, I was
He didn't say
actually,
hydrant, he said well.
if I may, I'd like to talk to Mr. Radigan about this. Is that okay to, okay?
I have a comment on
Yeah, go
the
ahead.
hydrant system, the hydrant.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Normally, a hydrant on private property is maintained by the property owner.
Right.
Hydrants along the public road are maintained by the city. So,
Oh.
there might be something to look into as to who actually owns the hydrants.
That's
that
a
are-
road that goes around the backside.
And I think that's our,
It's a road that goes all the
City
way
road.
around the backside, it cuts by the.
The one right by the bank,
cuts
20
back
feet from the
there.
bank is on the road?
Yeah, right.
yeah, I think that's a good
Right in
point, but
front
I
of
think
it.
he's right.
Yeah,
Right
that's a
in
road.
front of
Because I actually have seen a road sign there too, now that I think about it. So
Okay.
That's very good points. So, all right, sorry, going back to the water master report, I don't know, it sounds like you guys, maybe we should talk to a fire group and see if they're, the crew, and see if they're okay doing it on the river. I mean, I just wanna make sure the parade happens, I don't wanna ruin
Yeah,
the
I
parade, but I also don't
I
want
feel
the,
like that's kind of robbing them, making them pay for.
no, yeah,
the
that's,
Community parade.
right, that's
Right,
right, so it's kinda like a balance there, so,
My only thought is like people getting it in their mouth and they could get something from the
Oh,
river
river.
water compared to using city water,
So
which is
say, this is
clean.
river water.
I don't know.
It'll be-
It goes into the tank.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then on the issue of water meters, does the city own a water meter?
I think just one on the well, but it's divided up by the multiple property owners, so I'm not
Because-
sure.
Not yet.
Okay, because a lot of places, those who want to use the city water, they put a deposit down on the water meter and that's how they pay.
Into.
Then is based what the meter says. But the meter is normally provided by the agency.
So, the city ordinance that we adopted, and actually the ordinance that was in effect prior to re-adopting it requires a meter for every connection, and then that meter be paid for by the user,
Yeah.
but it's owned by the city, so. But we haven't done that yet.
We haven't, yeah, gone forward with that.
Some we have, and some we haven't.
You're
talking about the
hybrid meter, right?
Yes, on a hydrant meter. If I was to pull up with my private water truck and wanted to get water from the city, I would come in, talk to the city, get the meter, pay my deposit, and then pay
Well, that-
based
I
on
see
the,
what- I see what
Oh.
you're
then
talking
pay
about.
on the number of gallons I use.
I don't think Terry has anything like that, but I know what you're talking about.
You're talking like a small portable meter essentially.
Yeah.
Yes,
I see.
Yes.
Okay.
because if any major construction comes in
Yeah.
and they're gonna wanna start drawing water, you're gonna have to, you're
That's
gonna
something
want
you
to have a
wanna get.
meter. Or you work out some arrangement as to a flat rate for.
Right.
Yeah, or you have the guy, like you've got a locked hydrant or a spigot,
Mhm.
and then your guy pulls up and you just look at his truck, it's a 1,500 gallon truck, okay, fill it up once, lock it and go, so 1,500.
Yeah,
You can
that
do
too.
that
Yeah.
without a meter, but yeah, the city of Mountain Home does that same thing, they put a portable meter on.
That they'll just take out there and help them or
Yeah.
watch them float up and then mark it, okay. That's an option, and I guess that would get around the river water being hazardous in any way issue.
I'm not
It's a,
worried.
no, it's a thought, but I hear, yeah, it's not a huge concern potentially.
I don't-
You just
I
never know.
I know, but I don't know, I mean, why is it a big deal if they use the water? Or make them pay for it, it's a city activity.
That's the
Promotes
thing,
our city,
I can
brings
see
people
arguments,
here.
I can see arguments either way, I mean, I don't know. I don't know, I'm gonna bring that in next month for a larger discussion and
Okay.
mull it over.
When Terry's here. would it
That
be
too,
good to
could
bring
we,
it up?
could we So make sure that gets on the agenda next time, for sure,
And let's
please.
verify with the fire department.
Let's have his input there too, yeah, that's a good point, Laura.
And verify with fire.
Yeah.
Don't want the roads to burn up.
Alright, next, new business, discussing ordinance 2009-01, amending the zoning code, land use tables. Do we feel comfortable making a motion here at this point, or does anyone want to make a motion to go ahead and make these changes?
Yeah, I'm comfortable with it myself.
Yeah, I'll make a
Yeah.
motion to approve the changes to the zoning code, use tables ordinance 2009-01.
So this is one of those that if you wanna do it tonight, you have to first do the motion to suspend the rules and waive the three reading requirement. It's a separate motion.
Sorry,
when you do-
so let's start there, I guess.
That's okay.
Can we get a motion to suspend the 3 reading rules?
I'll make a motion to suspend the 3 reading rules of the land ordinance.
Second.
Okay, do we, all in favor, I guess?
Yes.
Roll call.
I was gonna say, should we do a roll call vote, okay? Laura Alexander,
Yes.
Clay Smith,
Yes.
Steve McInich,
Yes.
Alexandra Shepherd.
Yes.
Perfect. Motion passed. Then moving into the, do we have a motion to approve the zoning code, ordinance, 2009-01?
I'll make a motion to approve the changes to zoning code land use tables ordinance 2009-01.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, roll call vote. Laura Alexander,
Yes.
Clay Smith,
Yes.
Steve McInich, Alexandra Shepherd.
Yes.
All right, motion passed. To old business, city planner update. I'm gonna be talking to her in a few coming weeks and get her,
We just
Moving
sent
forward to view.
everybody a survey,
okay,
and she would, through email, and she would like everybody to fill that out and get that back to her. And then, I don't know what her next step is, but I think that survey should go to the business owners too, after that, so might wanna talk to her about that.
did she mention anything about taking it to citizens as well? I mean, they're the voters, or
No,
not
she
yet?
just wanted the
She just wanted
elected
to-
members to read
Just
it
look at
over,
it.
fill it out,
Okay.
send it back, and then probably go from
Will
there.
it go to the residents?
That's what, yeah, that's what I
I
was
feel like
wondering.
that should happen.
Business owners and residents.
Yeah, I think, I mean, all of them, everyone, yeah.
I think eventually it will, but I think first.
Is she just wanting to, like a soft open on it?
I think
Okay,
so.
Yeah,
that
she
makes
wants
sense.
your
She just
input
wants
first.
the input
So we'll
from
just
the
glance
council.
at it, give her our feedback, and then that would then go forward later then, I guess. And I think I agree, yeah, we should make sure everyone's in the loop on that, so. Anything else for the city planner update?
No,
No, she's just wanted to talk to you, so.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna be calling her on, what is it, Wednesday, 2 more days, on Friday, I'm just gonna give her a call. Spend probably a while on the phone with her, so I will update you after that. Moving on to the lot tax collection update, I'm gonna let Jeff fill you guys in on kinda what's been going on with moving that forward, and having the state do that.
Yeah. So I guess, first of all, one thing I wanted to address was that there's a reference on the form, the paper form they fill out to a tax commission form, that's an error. It's a reference to a Donnelly form, we don't need to have the people do that, so if people are online, just tell them to
They
ignore
don't
that
use it
part of
either,
the
Donnelly
declaration.
doesn't use it either.
Anyway, so I talked to John Bernasconi, who's the tax commission's COO. They are, just a week or so ago, the governor signed a rebate bill. So he's got a lot of team members that work on projects like this that are put on that task, which has to be done pretty quickly. But I talked to him, I think, a few days after our last meeting, and then I spoke to him earlier this week. So he thinks that the main estimate for how long it would take to implement having the tax commission do this for us would be 1 year. But depending on how long his team and how much is involved in setting up the software. So it's basically his team and the software vendor get together and figure out what changes, or what programming is needed so that all of the vendors here can file and remit electronically. There's a cost to setting that up at the tax commission, and then there's a menu of services they have available. And so I think that the cities would take the minimum amount of services, which is basically just be the remit and collect and remit on our behalf and administer that part. He gave the conservative estimate of 1 year, but he thinks his team was gonna get back to me, or to us, in, I think, 10 days from last Friday or something like that. With that and then a cost, and he thought it would be approximately 10,000, that was his like rough guess, and some of that was contingent on the number of payers, and so we came up with the, roughly 20 payers there would be for them to keep track of and remit the money. The payment for that could be negotiated with the tax commission. That is, they can park that bill and then take payment for that out of the proceeds before they remit them to us over time. So that's where we're at doing that.
Is that a yearly fee or one time?
No, just once.
Just a
That
setup.
thing is setting up what it costs them to go in and create a whole software system just for the city of Crouch. And one of his questions to me earlier was, because I represent 3 other cities, or 2 that have this tax, whether they wanted to get in and we could divide it. But their taxes are markedly different. They only tax one thing, and for those, and they're much smaller, so they're able to do them on their own just fine. So they didn't want to do it.
And we're set up just like Donley as of right now. So we have the spreadsheet and they can bring it to us, but they don't want to share their information with us. They'd rather do it through the state. And we only have not even 20 people on it.
There's 13.
There's 13, but that's without the Airbnbs.
All right.
That's with them.
Yeah, just with the RV.
So we're 13 instead of 20.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's worth $10,000 to do 13.
I'm hoping they come back a lot less and they go, oh, there's only
Yeah,
13.
Yeah, those were just kind of rough.
But not
That's
there.
also once it's set up.
Yeah, then you don't have an
Charge.
ongoing, yeah.
It's almost kind of worth it.
Was it, there would be a percentage charge?
No, just the setup, and then, I don't recall him quoting an ongoing expense. It's just the setup.
Because then it's all electronically done and
Right.
managed. Right. That would make sense.
But there might be, but I
We'd
don't, I
wanna
can't
know.
see it, yeah. Well, I mean, so what'll happen is, when he's ready with numbers and timelines, then you and I,
We'll get together and talk.
Yeah.
Okay. Mostly just wanted you to get that update. I think we should either consider having this discussion now or next month. I know it's a lot to just discuss when you just kind of found out. And Jeff and I had just spoken days ago about this as well, so I'm not really sure. I mean,
I'd rather have numbers before we.
that too, so we can definitely just table that, and we'll definitely have an update with them soon, and then we can get that emailed out to you guys so that you can have a better decision when it comes to March's city council meeting, so.
Do you want that on the agenda?
Yes, please, definitely.
and just, it's built into the ordinance.
To be able to do either
So,
one.
yeah, it doesn't require any amendment or anything to it, so.
Perfect. All right, let's move on to scheduled delegations, road committee report.
I did email back and forth with Curtis. The county does do their own striping and stuff. They farm it out, so when that time comes, I will get with him and maybe we can hopefully catch them before they actually come over in front of the park, and they can just keep right on coming.
Okay.
It'll cost us probably a few $100 to do that when the time comes.
Okay.
I just did the road report and I did put striping in there,
Yeah,
so.
yeah,
Okay.
so.
All
How many
right.
crosswalks are you planning on putting in? So I think they were talking like $300 a crosswalk.
personally, I had seen at least 2 for the walkway, especially as we start that first section of the walkway from about Garden Valley Properties, 2 Rivers to somewhere past, the Shame towards, Starlight. I was thinking somewhere down their end and then somewhere down in downtown here, like between Lownville's and that, right before the tight turn.
I know, it's
I'm
sketchy.
like, I
That-
don't think anywhere on that
yeah.
corner is good.
And then when we get the walkway, if we can figure out, getting it up towards the senior center, another, near the top there for sure, cause there's also I know the Rollins, Eric's always out there to make sure all the kids, when they get off the bus, cause his shop is right there, he's always like an extra physical body out there making sure people stop for the actual bus, cause they don't. And so that would be one in mind later when we get to that point, or maybe we could even at least put a crosswalk there. So like, I mean, in my head, I see 3, but I mean, it's not my decision by any means, but.
Can we do those speed, slow down?
The signs,
Solar signs?
I'll do some more looking at, it's kinda depending on what we're getting in with the funds and what do we wanna do and what the citizens wanna do. So I mean, that's why we need to get on this.
So we have money, don't we,
Survey.
to do those solar signs?
Yes.
So we have some money just to do those solar signs without.
And the ones that you were talking about, the slow down, that one, those are the ones that we can borrow. I don't know how long they'll let us borrow one, but I'd like to check into that this summer and
Yeah,
get
for the
those.
summer.
Let's at least start that. I'd love to get construction on permanent ones even after, but again, like, that goes to
I can find
people,
the
like, what
cost
do
for
they
that,
want us to
too.
do for that? I know a
Just
lot
try
of
it out
people.
and see how it works. Or if
Yeah,
there's a
exactly,
difference.
when it's free especially, if it does anything especially, but, I know a lot of people I talk to, they're all upset. People that don't even live on the Middle Fork, that just live in the neighborhood, they're just trying to pull out and someone's coming, barreling down either way out of,
That's why
Your
I think we should
neighborhood.
have one right at the top of the hill
Yeah.
there.
probably.
One of those solar ones that
Yeah.
just say, 35, and then it shows you what your speed is right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And if we have money in the budget, we don't have to wait.
well, and then the loaner signs, I think we should, can you get on that and see as soon as possible, cause I mean, I don't know, I mean, the weather seemed, today was amazing.
Today was.
I don't know if we're gonna, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I start seeing people coming up here sooner rather than later, and I'd like to test out the theory, do they work, do we wanna put in some actual dollars? If they test good and they work, let's go for it, so if they're free, let's see if we can get some,
Okay,
whatever I need to do to help you do that, let's make that happen ASAP.
I'll do the cost, we'll get a loan first and then I'll find out what the
Yeah, get
cost
the
is at the
loaners.
same time and.
Yeah, and then we'll go from there and see, play around with what works better, and then just maybe make the community aware too, like, hey, like, help us be our eyes and ears. See what you see happening with it, do you see it effective or not? Hold it.
So where'd they go exactly? Like right when you're coming in, you're turning into Crouch?
There's so many places, like, but by you guys, at
Yeah.
the top where the turn is, as people are coming in or out of that neighborhood, by where I am, then, like, the straightaways, obviously.
I know, there's so
And
many
Senior center.
options.
Exactly, yeah, senior
Yeah, the
center.
senior center coming down like by the fire station would be a good one, cause I even catch myself just going down the hill.
You
Like,
could
I'll
do
go a
it.
little fast.
You could do one right before the Billy Bob's turn, and then lay down somewhere towards the Shane Calvary Chapel by where we are, you could do.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do, like, there's like 4 good spots, so.
I feel like right when you're coming into, like, before the Shane would be good.
Yeah, yeah,
Because like, it's not really
they might miss that.
country, you're getting right into crowds,
Before
you're like, oh,
Starlight's
where?
turn.
Yeah,
Yeah, right before, that'd
Yeah.
be a really good spot.
I think
Yeah,
right there,
like an extra one.
before the pay it, or right by the pay it forward.
That's a
Cause
good
there's
one.
people parking, like right on the side of the road, some guy was actually in the road parked right by the fence,
they
and
are.
I had to stop cause oncoming traffic. So that, right before there would be great, I think.
There
How
was
many-
a little white car coming through here, I swear he was doing 50 miles an hour and I just stood there and watched because I just knew I was gonna hear boom.
Yeah,
And he was coming from over here across the
The
bridge.
and,
And I was afraid he wasn't gonna stop.
I know,
So that corner.
I know a lot of family,
Old
a couple
Crouch Road.
families that live up along Old Crouch, and they're not in Crouch, but they're, now
Close
that it's
enough.
paved, it's like even worse,
Oh, yeah.
so
Yeah.
they're upset.
Yeah, we
Um,
could do one over there by the library too.
We could do one at least at the park or something, as it's end up the hill, I think, I'm not sure where, but, see how many we can get too, like if they'll give us 2, it'd be even better, then we could test,
One
Around a
coming
little.
in and one repair.
yeah, we can test them out, so. I think one thing I thought of too, would be to just educate the citizens as well, like, give them the Boise County non-emergency dispatch and make them feel welcome to call them if they see things like that, cause I mean, that's what they're there for, to help. I'm not saying to flood them with calls or anything, but if they do that, maybe they can bring up some enforcement, cause I don't think we have any officers based out of here now that Hasty left, yeah,
So
so,
maybe if we had those slow down signs at least in place Memorial Day weekend.
yeah.
It says that it's radar,
What is
but this
it?
is by radar
enforced.
and,
Oh, radar enforced,
yeah.
I like
that's
those, yeah, that'll work. Cool, do what you can, that'd be
Okay.
great, thanks,
on
Sean.
it, yeah.
Let's move on to the Garden Valley Museum report, do we have anything there?
There's a couple people that were interested that I haven't talked to yet.
Okay,
I did have somebody come in from their Syringa Club. And they told me that that little shadow box that we have that is James Castle should be insured. It's worth a lot of money, and I'm glad that it's in a box and safe, but I'm gonna put it on the wall.
okay,
And she said that the last place, it was $20,000 they insured it for.
hold on,
What is it?
okay.
Can
So
a
should I
sky
check
crimp
into
if I-
that?
If I crimp would cover that.
Should I check into it?
It
or
might be
just-
already covered.
That's-
The museum.
Yeah, either
I
way,
think
check,
that'd be under a separate apparel.
I would check,
Anytime you have something with a lot of money, they wanna have it named as an apparel to be insured.
so it might be an add-on. I would check either way
Okay.
and get us some quotes, I suppose, and then we'll make a decision there. I guess with that, Bob and I were looking too to get the security system put up here when the weather gets a little bit nicer. We'll get in here with some ladders and we'll put that up. So, alright. I'll also email you a list of some of those folks that I was putting together towards the end of the summer and it just kinda ran away on me. I believe, I've talked to 3 of the 5 of them, they're still pretty interested, so I'll forward those
We're
names.
interested. I'll put
Yeah.
in the extra time to,
And the museum should be fairly clean, cause it hadn't been in several years, I think, and I went in there and cleaned it, so it should be okay. Unscheduled delegations, let's go to the clerk's report.
That's fine.
Sorry, she was taking notes, she was distracted.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, business licenses are very slowly being picked up. I've emailed, I've called every person, everybody's been notified that
Okay.
it's coming whenever. And we rearranged the office, thank you Steve for helping us do that. And the Christmas decorations out front, is it possible to get the volunteers? to-
I will be talking to, Mr. Noakes about that, I'll see why they didn't grab them when they did the lights, or if they did the lights off the gazebo and everything. If not, I'll see if I can just get some students that'll,
Extra credit.
extra credit or something, come help me do that this weekend or next, so I'm sure we can figure something out in the next couple weeks. I've been thinking about that too. Or, just a couple more months and we'll just leave them up, right?
That's true. Okay, Janet said the city email is working, I gave you all the paper there.
Mhm.
So she said get back with her to verify it, and it will be tied in with your personal emails.
Okay, perfect.
And that was it.
Alright, thank you. Treasurer's report?
we got our remittance from Idaho Power, we got $628 for this quarter. Liquor revenue was $10,000 this quarter, and state revenue sharing was $4,694 for this quarter.
So liquor was up.
Liquor's going up.
It's
Yeah,
the
it keeps
Time of the
going.
season, we're over winter, we're ready to get out, we're bored probably.
Cause we got down to like, what, 81 or 8,000 or?
Yeah, I was watching it
was-
go up every
It was
time.
going lower with the percentages too, so.
Mm.
Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with COVID, people are staying home.
Yeah.
Hydrating.
And more people moving up here.
And
Yeah.
to go a little bit backwards, Analytical Labs came in and our report is good for the water.
Perfect,
You need to know that.
cool. Anything else, Shane? Thank you.
No, we got got our first LOT check today,
Nice,
yeah.
alright. Do we have any other miscellaneous or routine matters?
You all have a map, our map is complete, it's up to date, this is what it looks like right now with our 2 annexations. Well, 3 really, but they kind of were already done on this map already. So the little line right here, and this is Tim Fritzley's.
Okay.
I just wanted everybody to know.
Is this those here?
Yeah, that's all,
That's the edge down there.
that's the Edge Resort down
Okay.
there. Okay, I guess we're adjourned. Next regular council meeting will be March 9th. Thanks for coming.
At 6:30.
6:30. That's right.